Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Traveling in 2020. I am Laura Depish, and I'm the manager of social media here at Burst Travel. With me today, I have Kimmy. She's in our Alexandria office, and she is one of our Hawaii experts. So hi, Kimmy. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, this is our last episode for 2020, and I think it makes sense that we're focusing on Hawaii because I think it's where most of us want to start our 2021, at least if we're lucky enough to get there. So, very basic question, seems kind of obvious, but why do you love Hawaii and why do you love sending so many of your clients there?
I love Hawaii. I think from the very moment that I stepped off the aircraft and I could smell the salt water of the ocean and the beautiful lei greeting that went around my neck as they welcomed you and the true aloha spirit that only Hawaii can provide.
I mean, Hawaii is like no other place I've ever been to in the world. And even saying that, each of their islands are very different. Are there particular islands that you are really drawn to, or what would you say differentiates some from another?
Yes. So there are six unique islands, and they're all very different from each other. Um, I love the island of Kauai because it is known as the nature island. It's just beautiful with the breathtaking waterfalls and the wild jungles. And then you have the island of Maui, which has the beautiful long stretches of beaches. And that tends to be the island that clients tend to gravitate, that they want to go to because of that. And then you have the hustle and bustle of Oahu, where the capital, Honolulu, and just that high energy. And of course, you can't forget about Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is where we have that connection. You want to go there. You want to see where people have fallen, that have fought, that it was just a part of our history. And then the Big Island has an active volcano, and you can see it from if you take a helicopter ride. It's just beautiful. And then you have the kind of like the almost like if you were put on Mars with the lava rocks along the coastline. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and it just makes that island so unique. Yeah,
Lots
so
of different options, right?
yes,
Very
absolutely.
very different types of vacations, or have them all in one. But since each island is so different and they almost act autonomously, how does this work with COVID? Do they have one big kind of rule of Hawaii, or do we need to be thinking about each different islands?
Yes, so Hawaii has officially begun the process of reopening the state to visitors with a state-approved pre-travel test. When it first opened, you were able to go to Hawaii, but then you were required to quarantine for 14 days. Now you're able to bypass that with a COVID negative test that is required. However, you do have to be careful because it's a lot more complicated than just taking the test and thinking that you can go. It's very time sensitive. You are only able to do that to take the test. It's required within 72 hours prior to the arrival time to the island that you're going to. And each island also has their own rules and regulations. So you want to be careful that you get those rules, and we can help you navigate that, because there are a lot of multi-layered screening process in which is just, it gets very complicated and it's changing all the time.
Okay, so we can't expect to necessarily do our COVID test, get to Hawaii, and then do some island hopping. There might be some additional measures that we'd have to take in between those, or just order them in a certain way where hopefully we can get away with just one test.
So for an example, the island of Maui, they require, if you come from Oahu, you would be required to take a second test. So what we recommend, like say for an example, I have a family that's going right after Christmas and they want to do Oahu and Maui. I advise them that they should go to Maui first, take the COVID test prior, Then from Maui, they can go over to Oahu and they don't have to take that additional test. So it saves them that extra time, that extra stress of having to do it.
Perfect. So you said people are going right after Christmas now. When is a good time to visit Hawaii, or is it always a good time to visit Hawaii?
Because of the trade winds, actually all year round is really absolutely wonderful to visit Hawaii. They have a winter and they have a summer. And the winter season begins from November through March, and their summer begins April through October, um, which, you know, I've gone in both seasons, and they both are 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 wonderful because when you go during when we want to go, um, because it's a little bit more rainier, everything's very lush and beautiful. And when you go during the off season, you can find really good deals, and um, and it's more dry, so you don't have any rain at all. So
Well, speaking of deals, what can we expect to be open right now? We've seen kind of around the country and around the world that, we can travel, but it might not look the same way it typically would. So what could we expect to be open in Hawaii?
so travel is definitely going to look and feel different. So like Pearl Harbor is open, but they do have some parts that are not going to be available. So for an example, the theater is not open right now, and the Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum and the Battleship Missouri is not available to go to. But they do recommend, because because of the COVID protocols, they want to make sure that social distancing is put in place, that they do recommend that you do make a reservation in advance, and you're only able to do that the day before that you want to actually go there.
Okay.
It's free. They have a $1 handling fee, but they do limit up to just 50 people that are allowed to go on the vessel that takes you over to the USS Arizona Memorial. And of course, you do have to wear face masks, are going to be required.
Okay. Are we doing luau's, or what else is open? What else can I do in Hawaii?
Yes, the luau's are going to be available, and it's just something that you got to do if you go to Hawaii. They usually normally have had a buffet style, and now it's the food will actually be plated and brought to your table, and they will make sure that the tables are spaced apart from each other, and so that you can feel safe and know that you're going to have the same experience. It's just going to look a little bit different.
And you always get that aloha spirit. I hear you talk about that. I feel like when I've been there, and especially this time of year, and what we're all kind of dealing with, we can all use that aloha love, right?
Yes. So aloha means not just hello or goodbye, but in the true Hawaiian spirit, it also captures the heart of love, of peace, of compassion, and mutual respect. Aloha means that you're living in harmony with people all around you, with mercy, sympathy, kindness, and grace to each other. So, we all just need to take a moment, and we need to let that Hawaii happen to you, whether you're just wandering on a beach, or if you're discovering the food that the locals love, or that you like to experience a culture full of that welcoming aloha. There's so much more to your Hawaii vacation that you could ever dream of possible. And we would like to help you make that dream come true.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kimmy, so much. I appreciate your help and your guidance to getting us to Hawaii. And thank you, everybody who's watched the rest of our traveling in 2020. If you missed any of our previous episodes, you can find them on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. And then keep a lookout. We're going to continue this into 2021. It's going to look a little different, but we've got lots of great things coming your way. So happy holidays, happy new year, and we'll see you in hopefully a much happier, safer, healthy 2021.